All right, hello everyone, and welcome to the Ventures Podcast. Today is June 20th. I'm going to record just a short screencast here about pitch decks. So, pitch decks for early stage companies. I'm talking pre-seed and seed. If you're listening to this episode, you can also watch in the screencast by visiting the link in your show notes there. And if you're watching, you can also listen anywhere you get your podcast. You can just search for Ventures and it should show up. So, the impetus for this episode is I've been a venture capitalist for a little while now, and I've been investing in technology startups for about 14 years. I wrote this article here on startuprocket.com about investor pitch deck and communication strategies, pre-seed and seed. The purpose of this article really was to help communicate to people that are really pre-seed and not seed, because a lot of the deck material out there, when you research how to put together a deck, is focused on seed rounds, but really pre-seed should be more team oriented, because the early stage investors are betting on you as the CEO and the team that you form, that kind of your vision, things like that. Now this is still appropriate and good. Like I don't want to take away from sort of the overarching storyline that most investors, institutional investors or angel investors, want to see in terms of going through your problem or opportunities, your solution, your founder story, why now is the right time to launch, your market size, revenue models, business models, unique advantages, competition, marketing plan, co-founders and advisors, validation, and fundraising details. I don't want to take away from this. This is sort of the amalgamation appropriate for pre-seed. However, I have been increasingly frustrated by hearing pitch after pitch after pitch where founders take too much time to focus on their product. It really, if you're pitching to an investor, we want to learn about your traction and whether your traction matches your deal terms, and then all the questions about team, product, market, traction, financial model, and the deal terms. All of that information flows from, does the traction and the deal terms lead to actually you, the CEO, being the right person to execute against not only continuing that traction and hitting your forecasts, but are you able to recruit the team, land additional rounds of investment? Are you able to go all the way to an IPO or a good or a nice acquisition? Are you going to basically able to do the whole process in order to return capital to the fund or return capital to angel investors, et cetera, et cetera. So I will probably write up a different version of this, especially if you're pitching to people who think the same way that I do, which is start with traction and forecasts, and then tell the story. You're still going to have to put together a deck and as you pitch other investors, and that's kind of the culture of our startup fundraising thing. But I think that culture is not as helpful as it could be. I think there's a lot more I think there's a lot better way we can train our entrepreneurs to pitch investors so that they don't just waste a boatload of time and they really focus on what matters, which again is traction and reasonable deal terms, especially because now the markets are down. But even if you're listening to this in the future and the markets are way back up, these fundamentals are still going to be true. So of course that begs the question, what is traction? Like if I come down to the traction slide here in the example that we have here, where it has Uber's pre-seed pitch. When they say progress to date, they reserved their domain, they got the trademark filed, they have the dev license applied for, they have a bank account, they have advisors, they have provisional patent, and then they're like, hey, next we're going to buy 3 cars, develop the app, and do that and raise a few million. So it's this probably, I don't think this is too controversial to say. This progress slide, when Uber was raising their pre-seed pitch, was probably the main thing after, which informed, is the team the right person? Is this which informed all the other aspects of a pitch. this is the slide that investors probably were most interested in. And then I don't know what the deal terms are for that first round, but did it match that deal term? And then, did they have forecasts like buying these 3 cars and developing the app? Does it have a forecast that is believable, and is this the right team to execute that? So, I just wanted to make this quick little podcast just to say that you're still, I can't in good conscience tell you to just not do the traditional deck here. I still think this is it's good nuance between pre-seed and seed, but I do think if you focus your deck and really spend time as you pitch on the things I just talked about in this episode, I think you're going to have be much more successful, or at least not waste your time, because you know exactly where you need to be, or at least thematically where you need to be in order to successfully land funding. So, all right, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Feel free to reach out. Just will@wclittle.com if you have some questions on this. I'd like to help as many people as I possibly can. Have a great rest of your week. Thanks. All right. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I wanted to just let you know before you go that if you're interested in following along with any of the content I write, go to wclittle.com. There I have a newsletter that you can subscribe to, and just subscribe to any topic that I write about, whether it's Web3 or health science or software development or any of the miscellaneous new buzzwords like generative AI and other things that come up. And you can also publish. That new platform is called Satchel. We're letting in more folks into the beta. Think kind of like a Substack, Medium, Mirror, WordPress, but it has some new features that are coming that I think you're going to be really interested in. Also, if you're building a startup, I have a portfolio company called Startup Rocket. StartupRocket.com gives you coaching frameworks and different guides so that you have an understanding about how to build a startup in a scalable way, and you can bring in your team and your mentors and advisors and potential investors. So we've built that platform and use it internally at my venture capital group, Proto Ventures, and I highly recommend it for you. All right, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Have a great rest of your week.